There's a story most men live, but almost none of them ever tell. It's the story of a man who walks through his life as a total stranger to himself. He moves through crowded rooms, smiling, nodding, playing a part he was handed in childhood. It's a role he never auditioned for but has spent a lifetime perfecting. He builds an internal prison, brick by brick, with the mortar of, I have to be strong, I can't let them see me fail, and I must not be weak. Each brick is a judgment he's terrified of, each layer of mortar a rejection he once felt. But this isn't a story about failure or a critique of being a man. It's the psychological tale of the fear of being seen. It's about the silent epidemic of men living behind a mask, and the immense, almost heroic courage it takes to finally break free and introduce themselves to the world and, more importantly, to themselves. The invisible prison and the mask of masculinity. For so many men, life is a performance. You wake up, you put on a costume, and you step onto a stage. That costume might be unshakable confidence, stoic indifference, aggressive ambition, or easygoing humor. It's a carefully built facade designed for one reason: to protect what's inside, to hide the real you. This deep, pervasive fear of being truly seen for who we are is one of the biggest, unspoken struggles men face. It runs like a quiet hum of anxiety beneath everything we do, a constant negotiation between who we feel we are and who we believe we must be. At its core, this fear is about expecting judgment and rejection. We're afraid that if people saw the real us, the us that feels uncertain, doubtful, scared, sad, or overwhelmed, they'd turn away. They'd think we're not good enough, not man enough. So we hide. We build walls. But this self-preservation comes at an almost unbearable cost. The great psychologist Carl Jung talked about how losing touch with your true self is a sign of a deep internal problem. And that's exactly what happens. Many men go through their entire lives without ever meeting their core selves. They get so good at playing the role that they forget who they are when the curtain falls. They become successful strangers, admired for a personality they secretly hate, loved for an image they know isn't the full picture. This creates a devastating psychological trap that researchers call the relational paradox. It goes like this. A man hides parts of himself, his insecurities, his gentleness, his fears, in order to be accepted by others. And hey, maybe it works. He gets the job, makes friends, finds a partner. But there's a nagging feeling that something is wrong, because even when he's accepted, he knows deep down that they don't like the real him. They like the character he's playing. This doesn't make him feel loved. It makes him feel even more unlovable, because it proves his worst fear, that his true self is unworthy of connection. He feels like a fraud, always on the edge of being found out. The longer a man stays in this paradox of hiding to be liked, the more pain he feels and the more unworthy he becomes in his own eyes. It's an exhausting, lonely way to live, standing in a crowded room and feeling completely, utterly alone. The blueprint of the prison, the psychological roots. This prison isn't built overnight. The foundations are laid early, and the walls are reinforced for years by our own inner monologue. To figure out how to break free, we first have to understand how the prison was built. The psychological roots of this fear are deep, complex, and often start long before we're even aware of them. Part 1 of the blueprint is drawn in the echoes of childhood. For many men, the fear of being seen started as a totally rational response to their early environment. Things like constant criticism, bullying, neglect, or emotional trauma get deeply wired into us, creating a fear of being exposed that follows us right into adulthood. Maybe you had a parent who was relentlessly critical, where any tiny flaw was blown up. Or maybe you experienced emotional neglect, where your feelings were ignored, teaching you that your inner world didn't matter or was a burden. When a child is put under that kind of microscope, or made to feel that love is something you have to earn, their self-worth is shattered. They learn a devastating lesson. You are not valuable just for being you. You have to earn love by meeting a list of external demands. And so, the performance begins. The authentic self, with all its messy, beautiful, and imperfect emotions, is deemed unsafe and sent into hiding. The mask becomes a survival tool. Part 2 of the blueprint is the voice of the inner critic, which polices every thought and action. This fear of being seen is tied directly to self-doubt. If you have low self-esteem to begin with, you live with the constant fear of being judged or rejected, because on some level, you don't believe you're worthy of acceptance in the first place. This creates a vicious cycle. The fear of being seen makes you more insecure, and that insecurity makes you even more afraid. For many men, especially high achievers, this gets tangled up with imposter syndrome. Despite clear evidence of success, promotions, awards, respect, there's a gut-wrenching feeling of being a total fraud. There's a fear of being found out or exposed as incompetent. This isn't arrogance in disguise, it's a deep-seated anxiety. It forces you to double down on the performance, to work harder, not for the joy of it, but to desperately keep the facade from cracking. Perfectionism becomes your jailer. You believe you have to be flawless because any mistake will lead to the harsh judgment you've been dreading your whole life. Finally, and maybe most destructively, is the psychological toll of all this self-suppression. Hiding your true self isn't passive, it's an active, energy-draining process, and it has severe consequences for mental health. When men are taught to bottle up their emotions, the emotions don't just disappear, they just curdle into something else. Emotional suppression can lead to depression and anxiety, but for men, it carries an even darker risk. It dramatically increases the likelihood of suicide. The statistics are tragic. In 2023, men died by suicide nearly 4 times more often than women. This isn't because men don't feel, it's because they're told they shouldn't. Research shows that men experience emotions just as strongly as women. But because showing sadness, fear, or hurt doesn't fit the rigid traditional script of masculinity, those feelings get rerouted. They come out as anger, irritability, withdrawal, or get numbed through coping mechanisms like substance use. The constant effort of holding it all in leads to chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. It damages our physical health, contributing to higher rates of heart disease and high blood pressure. And it erodes the very foundations of our confidence. We end up trapped in a life where we not only feel disconnected from others, but at war with ourselves. The prison walls, the unyielding pressure of society. If our inner psychology gives us the blueprint for the prison, society builds the walls. And these walls are tall, thick, and reinforced every single day by the world around us. From the moment we're born, boys are handed a rule book for how to be a real man. This script is often called the man box, and its rules are as rigid as they are damaging. For generations, traditional masculinity has promoted a very narrow set of traits: strength, toughness, and emotional stoicism. Men are expected to be resilient no matter what, to swallow their fear, their sadness, and their vulnerability. This script casts men as both provider and protector. The pressure to be the main breadwinner, to crush it at work, and to be the unwavering rock for your family is immense. It can lead to crippling stress and burnout, all of which has to be handled in silence, because admitting the struggle would violate the core rule: you must be strong. The list of expectations is exhausting and often contradictory. Society tells men to get married and provide for a family, but to have a distant relationship with their kids, since being a primary caretaker is seen as feminine. Men are told to have children but raise them with an iron fist. They're supposed to show no emotion besides anger, yet somehow maintain healthy, intimate relationships. They should be in peak physical condition, like manly hobbies, and take charge in every situation. They must have a high sex drive but avoid any hint of vanity. And above all, there's one cardinal rule: avoid anything seen as feminine. Don't cry in public. Don't like romantic comedies. Don't wear pink. Don't be too expressive or nurturing. This policing starts in infancy. Boys get trucks, not dolls. Over and over, the message is sent: this is who you are allowed to be. This is the box. Stay inside. Eventually, we internalize these beliefs. We hold back our feelings because we've been conditioned to believe it is fundamentally unsafe to show our full, authentic selves. This pressure to conform creates what researchers call masculine strain, a chronic stress that can lead to a ton of negative psychological outcomes. One of the most dangerous results of this social conditioning is that men are far less likely than women to ask for help with their mental health. This isn't a sign of strength. It's a symptom of a culture that treats asking for help as admitting defeat. The very rules of masculinity that cause so much pain, be self-reliant, control your emotions, be tough, are the same rules that stop men from getting treatment for that pain. Workplace culture, especially in male-dominated fields, often makes this worse. Showing vulnerability can be seen as weakness, competition is fierce, and a suck-it-up attitude is everywhere. For men trapped in this cycle, their suffering often shows up in ways that are misunderstood. Instead of sadness, they might display anger, aggression, or substance abuse. They avoid getting professional help until they are at an absolute breaking point. They are taught to build a prison, and then told that wanting to escape is a sign of weakness. If any of this is resonating with you, if you've ever felt like you're playing a part or hiding pieces of yourself just to be accepted, I want you to just take a breath and know that you are not alone. This is a shared story. So many of us are on this journey, whether we talk about it or not. If you're ready to move toward a more authentic life, consider subscribing to this channel. We're building a community of people who are committed to having these honest conversations. You don't have to do this alone. So here we are, in this prison. A prison designed by our past, built by society, and guarded by our own fear. It can feel hopeless, like there's no way out. But here's the profound paradoxical truth. The key that unlocks the door is the very thing we've been taught to fear most. It is vulnerability. For so long, we've been sold a lie, that vulnerability is weakness. But that's not true at all. Vulnerability is the birthplace of courage, connection, and every real experience you will ever have. It's the willingness to show up and be seen when you have no control over the outcome. It's the ultimate act of rebellion against the man box. The turning point from hiding to healing is a huge shift in understanding. It's realizing that hiding is a losing game. It's seeing the relational paradox for what it is, a self-defeating cycle that guarantees loneliness. The moment you truly get that hiding yourself to gain acceptance only makes you feel more disconnected is the moment you can start looking for a different path. This turning point often shows up when we stop projecting our own issues onto the world. Projection is a defense mechanism where we take our own unresolved struggles and blame them on other people because we are not ready to face them. A man who is deeply insecure about his own worth might constantly judge others as incompetent. A man who is terrified of his own emotional needs might call his partner too needy. A man with suppressed anger might pick fights over nothing, not realizing his own internal resentment is the real problem. Projection keeps us stuck, forever pointing a finger at the world instead of taking a brave look in the mirror. The turning point is the moment of introspection. It's when you stop asking, "What's wrong with them?" and start asking with courage and curiosity, "What is going on inside of me?" It is the moment you decide that the pain of hiding has finally become greater than the fear of being seen. This isn't defeat. This is the moment you decide to fight for your own life, for your own truth. It is the beginning of your escape. The escape plan, a practical guide to freedom. Knowing you want to escape is one thing, having a map is another. Breaking free from a lifetime of conditioning is a process. It takes intention, practice, and a lot of self-compassion. It's not about flipping a switch, it's about taking small, deliberate steps toward being real. Here is a practical guide to start that journey. Step 1. Rewrite your internal script. The foundation of this prison is the core belief. If I show my true self, I will be judged and rejected. The first step is to challenge this belief head-on. This is a mindset reframe. Instead of seeing social interactions as a test you might fail, start seeing them as an opportunity to practice being authentic. Shift your goal from looking for approval to honoring your own truth. This means consciously catching the voice of your inner critic. When you hear it say, "Don't say that, they'll think you're an idiot," or "Don't admit you're struggling, they'll see you as weak," just pause, acknowledge the fear, and then reframe it. Instead of "I will be judged," try telling yourself, "I am choosing to be authentic," or "My worth isn't determined by their opinion." You're taking the power back from the outside world and putting it where it belongs, inside of you. Step 2. Practice small acts of courage. You don't dismantle a prison by blowing up the main wall on day one. You start by loosening one brick at a time. The way to build your vulnerability muscle is by starting with small, low-stakes actions. I call these small acts of courage. What does this look like? It could be sharing a real opinion on a movie instead of just agreeing with the group. It could be admitting you don't know the answer to something at work. It could mean talking about a feeling other than good or pissed off. Try a different word. I'm feeling a bit disheartened today. Or, I'm feeling really hopeful about this. It might feel terrifying at first, but each time you take one of these small risks and the world doesn't end, you're rewiring your brain. You are giving it new proof that being seen is not only survivable, but can actually lead to deeper connection. Step 3. Heal your younger self. We have to go back to the source. The fear you feel today is often the echo of a pain felt by a much younger version of you. That little boy who was criticized, neglected, or taught that his feelings were a problem still lives inside you. A powerful part of this journey is what's called inner child work. It's about giving yourself the compassion and validation you may not have received back then. This can be as simple as a visualization. Picture yourself at an age when you first felt that fear of being seen. See that young boy, and in your mind, tell him what he needed to hear. You are okay. Your feelings are valid. You are allowed to be exactly who you are. I've got you. You are safe with me. This practice of self-compassion isn't silly. It's a profound act of healing. You're reparenting yourself, teaching yourself that your authentic self is, and always was, worthy of love. Step 4. Find your tribe. This journey out of the prison isn't meant to be a solo mission. One of the most powerful ways to accelerate this work is to find safe relationships where you can practice being your real self. This could be a trusted friend, an understanding partner, a therapist, or a men's group. The goal is to find at least one person or a small group of people with whom the mask can come off completely. This is your training ground for those small acts of courage. This is where you can say, I'm scared, or I'm struggling, and be met not with judgment, but with empathy. Having just one relationship where you feel truly seen and accepted for who you are can be revolutionary. It gives you a lived experience that directly contradicts your deepest fear. It teaches you in your bones that connection is not only possible, but it's the antidote to the shame and isolation that kept you locked up for so long. The journey out of the internal prison is the great quiet adventure of a man's life. It's the path from a life of performance to a life of presence. It's the slow, courageous process of tearing down the walls you built to protect yourself, only to discover you were also walling yourself in. Imagine a life where you no longer waste energy managing a facade. Imagine the freedom of saying what you truly feel and think. Imagine the deep connection you could have in relationships where you are loved for who you are, not for the role you play. This isn't a fantasy. This is the promise of authenticity. Breaking free from the fear of being seen is the ultimate reclamation of yourself. It's a declaration that your worth is not up for debate. It's choosing the messy, unpredictable, and beautiful reality of being human over the sterile safety of a performance. The world doesn't need more perfect men. It needs more honest men, more whole men. The path isn't easy, but the freedom on the other side is worth every single difficult step. The freedom to just be you. If this video resonated with you, if it sparked something in you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel to join a community of people who are on this journey together. The most powerful conversations happen in the comments. So I have a question for you. What is one small act of courage you can commit to taking this week to be just a little more authentic? Share it below. Your story might be the permission slip someone else needs to start their own journey. Thank you for being here.